Ever wonder why some people just sparkle with energy and razor-sharp focus, while others slog through a perpetual brain fog, even after their third coffee? Why does the world sometimes feel like it's moving too fast, and you're just lagging behind, unable to catch up, no matter how hard you try? Imagine a microscopic conductor, directing a symphony of billions of cells within your body. This isn't some exotic, newly discovered supernutrient, it's a humble, often overlooked element called iodine. It's the unsung hero, the tiny titan, playing an utterly indispensable role in the grand orchestration of your internal world. Without it, the maestro, your thyroid gland, can't even lift its baton. The thyroid, a small, butterfly-shaped gland nestled at the base of your neck, is a powerhouse, a master regulator, producing hormones that touch virtually every single cell, tissue, and organ in your entire body. These aren't just any hormones, we're talking about thyroxine, T4, and triiodothyronine, T3, the fundamental architects of your metabolic rate. Think of them as your body's personal speedometer and thermostat, simultaneously dictating how fast you burn fuel and how warm you stay. Beyond energy and heat, these hormones are critical for growth and development, especially in the earliest, most formative stages of life. They ensure that organs mature correctly, that your bones strengthen, and that your muscles develop their full potential. And then there's the brain. Oh, the magnificent, complex, hungry brain. Thyroid hormones are absolutely essential for optimal cognitive function, influencing everything from your capacity for learning and memory recall to your ability to solve complex problems and maintain emotional balance. They are the silent hum of your brain's processing power, ensuring neural pathways fire efficiently and information flows smoothly. If you've ever felt that frustrating mental sluggishness, that feeling of thoughts moving through treacle, or that sudden inability to grasp new concepts, you might be catching a glimpse of a system crying out for this essential ingredient. It's not just about being smart, it's about mental clarity, the speed of thought, the ability to focus through distractions, and even the sharpness of your memory. Before the widespread introduction of iodized salt, iodine deficiency was the leading preventable cause of intellectual disability worldwide. This element, seemingly so simple, holds the keys to unlocking our full mental potential, making it a cornerstone of not just physical health, but cognitive vitality and human flourishing on a global scale. So, how does this microscopic marvel wield such immense power? It all begins in that butterfly-shaped command center, the thyroid gland. Think of your thyroid as a highly specialized factory, and iodine as its most critical raw material. The thyroid gland possesses a unique ability. It actively absorbs iodine from your bloodstream, meticulously ferrying it into its cells. Once inside, this iodine is painstakingly linked to a protein called thyroglobulin. This complex molecular dance forms the building blocks of those vital thyroid hormones, T3 and T4. Without sufficient iodine, the thyroid factory grinds to a halt. It simply doesn't have the necessary components to manufacture its product, no matter how strong the signals from the pituitary gland, the body's general manager, are telling it to produce more. Those signals, in the form of thyroid-stimulating hormone, TSH, will rise higher and higher, a desperate plea for production, but if the raw material isn't there, the factory remains barren. When thyroid hormone production falters, your entire metabolic engine sputters. Your body's internal thermostat dips, leaving you feeling perpetually chilly, even in a warm room. The gas pedal for your cellular activity gets stuck in low gear, leading to unexplained weight gain, even if your diet hasn't changed. Your hair might thin, your skin might become dry and flaky, and your nails brittle. Your gut slows down, leading to constipation. It's a cascade of systemic slowdowns, all pointing back to a single, missing ingredient. This isn't some rare, exotic scenario, it's a common, often misdiagnosed struggle that affects millions. Your body needs a continuous, daily supply of iodine, not just a one-off dose. It's like needing a steady drip of fuel to keep a sophisticated engine running smoothly, rather than just filling up the tank once a year. This constant demand underscores its fundamental role in daily physiological maintenance and long-term well-being. The consequences of iodine deficiency can range from subtly frustrating to profoundly devastating. One of the most visually striking manifestations is the goiter, a noticeable, sometimes massive, swelling of the thyroid gland in the neck. This isn't just cosmetic, it's the thyroid's desperate, last-ditch effort to compensate for a lack of iodine. It literally grows larger, trying to capture every last available molecule from the blood, essentially working overtime with inadequate supplies. Imagine an entire factory expanding its physical footprint, building more workstations, all in a futile attempt to produce more product when the essential raw material is simply not coming in. It's a tragic, visible marker of a body in distress. But the most insidious effects are often hidden, unfolding quietly, particularly during critical developmental periods. For pregnant women, insufficient iodine doesn't just impact their own health, it directly threatens the developing fetus. Iodine is paramount for the baby's brain development, bone formation, and overall growth. A deficiency during pregnancy can lead to severe, irreversible cognitive impairments in the child, a condition historically known as cretinism, which includes intellectual disability and stunted physical growth. This isn't just a minor setback, it's a lifelong impediment, a potential future tragically stolen by the absence of a tiny element. The impact can extend into childhood, affecting a child's learning abilities, school performance, and overall cognitive potential. Imagine a generation of children unable to reach their full mental capabilities, not due to genetics or lack of opportunity, but due to a simple nutritional oversight. The human body only needs a minuscule amount of iodine, about a quarter teaspoon over an entire lifetime, but that tiny quantity is absolutely critical every single day. This highlights the astonishing power of micronutrients, where an almost imperceptible quantity can make the difference between thriving and merely surviving, between mental sharpness and perpetual fog. So, if this tiny titan is so crucial, where do we find it? Thankfully, nature has provided a vibrant array of sources, with the ocean being its richest repository. When we talk about iodine, seaweed instantly springs to mind as the undisputed champion. Varieties like nori, the sheets used for sushi, kombu, a thick kelp often used in broths, and wakame, commonly found in miso soup, are absolute iodine powerhouses. Just a small serving of some types of seaweed can provide several times your daily recommended intake, which is why moderation is key with these superfoods. They absorb iodine directly from the ocean, concentrating it in their fronds. Beyond the plant life of the sea, its animal inhabitants are also fantastic sources. Fish like cod, haddock, and even smaller, fattier fish like salmon, contain good amounts of iodine, as do shellfish such as shrimp and oysters. These creatures absorb iodine from the seawater and the plankton they consume, integrating it into their tissues. For those who don't regularly consume seafood, there's a widely available, often overlooked, and truly revolutionary source, iodized salt. The brilliant public health initiative to add iodine to table salt transformed global health, making this essential nutrient accessible to even landlocked populations far from the ocean's bounty. This simple, inexpensive intervention has averted countless cases of deficiency-related disorders, a silent triumph of preventive medicine. Furthermore, dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt, along with eggs, can also contribute to your iodine intake, primarily because the animals are often fed iodine-supplemented feed. However, the iodine content in these sources can vary widely depending on farming practices and regional soil quality. For vegetarians and vegans, ensuring adequate intake can sometimes require more conscious effort, given that plant-based sources are generally lower and their iodine content is highly dependent on the soil composition where they are grown. The story of iodine is a testament to human ingenuity and the profound impact of simple scientific discoveries. For centuries, the visible swelling of the neck, the goiter, was a common sight in many communities, particularly those in mountainous regions far from the sea, a geographical phenomenon dubbed the goiter belt. These populations, with limited access to iodine-rich seafood, struggled with a silent epidemic of fatigue, mental sluggishness, and developmental issues, their true cause remaining a perplexing mystery. It wasn't until the early 19th century that iodine itself was formally identified as an element. The pieces began to fall into place, slowly connecting this newly discovered substance to the ancient affliction of goiter. The real game-changer came in the 20th century with the visionary public health campaigns to introduce iodized salt. Picture the scale of this intervention, a seemingly innocuous act of adding a trace mineral to a common kitchen staple, yet one that unleashed a ripple effect of improved health and cognitive capacity across entire nations. It was a simple, cost-effective solution that dramatically reduced the incidence of goiter and, even more significantly, curbed the devastating rates of intellectual disability that had plagued generations. This wasn't just about curing a physical ailment, it was about elevating human potential, literally making populations smarter and more resilient. The impact on national IQ scores, though complex to quantify directly, is believed to be substantial, highlighting how a foundational micronutrient can shape the collective intelligence and productivity of a society. Some ancient cultures intuitively recognized a link between seaweed consumption and the reduction of goiters, long before iodine itself was discovered or understood. This ancient wisdom, rooted in keen observation and traditional practices, serves as a poignant reminder that sometimes, the answers lie hidden in plain sight, waiting for scientific understanding to illuminate their true significance. It's a remarkable fusion of ancient intuition meeting modern science. While iodine deficiency presents significant challenges, it's also crucial to understand that more isn't always better. The body thrives on a delicate balance, and excessive iodine intake can lead to its own set of problems, sometimes paradoxically triggering or worsening thyroid dysfunction, including hyperthyroidism or autoimmune thyroid conditions like Hashimoto's. This delicate dance underscores the importance of informed choices and, when necessary, professional guidance. For most people, a balanced diet that includes varied sources of iodine, perhaps supplemented by iodized salt in moderation, is usually sufficient to meet daily requirements without overdoing it. However, individual needs can vary, particularly for pregnant or breastfeeding women, or those with pre-existing thyroid conditions, making consultation with a healthcare professional invaluable. Understanding iodine's role isn't about fostering anxiety over every morsel of food, it's about empowerment through knowledge. It's about recognizing the profound impact that seemingly small, invisible components can have on the magnificent complexity of our bodies and minds. It's about appreciating the intricate ballet of biochemistry that keeps us feeling vibrant, sharp, and truly alive. From the vast, mysterious depths of the ocean to the tiny granules in your salt shaker, iodine's journey is a powerful reminder that sometimes, the greatest forces are found in the smallest packages. This tiny element reminds us that our well-being is often tethered to the most fundamental building blocks, the unsung heroes of our internal universe, silently working to keep our grand biological symphony playing in perfect harmony. But imagine a world, not so long ago, where entire regions were gripped by a silent epidemic. It wasn't a virus or a famine, but the simple, tragic absence of this one microscopic element. Picture a remote village, nestled high in the mountains, far from the ocean's bounty. Here, the landscape is beautiful, but the soil is utterly devoid of iodine. Generations grow up with pervasive goiters, yes, but far more tragically, with minds shrouded in a perpetual haze. Children are born with stunted growth and a profound, irreversible intellectual disability. These individuals, through no fault of their own, are denied the fundamental human capacity for full cognitive development, their potential permanently curtailed. Their movements are clumsy, their speech slurred, their capacity for learning severely limited. It's not just a statistic or a medical term like cretinism, it's the heartbreaking reality of lives lived without the mental clarity, the sharp wit, the full spectrum of thought and emotion that iodine so fundamentally supports. This wasn't some ancient, forgotten disease, this was a widespread, preventable tragedy impacting millions, casting a long, dark shadow over human potential for centuries. The creepy part? This isn't just history. Even today, in underserved regions, or among populations with highly restrictive diets, the specter of iodine deficiency still looms, silently stealing futures. The consequences are permanent, leaving an indelible mark on individuals who simply never had the essential ingredient for their brains to fully blossom, for their intellect to reach its full, magnificent potential. It's a reminder of how fragile our cognitive architecture truly is, dependent on something we can barely see, barely taste, yet utterly vital. So, next time you reach for that sprinkle of iodized salt, or enjoy a piece of fish, or even a humble sheet of nori, pause for a moment and consider the invisible, indispensable power you're holding. Knowing all this, what other silent, unseen orchestrators might be shaping your reality, just waiting to be discovered or better understood?